Hello viewers, welcome to Cooking Horizon by Taz. Today I'm going to show you how to make the best turkey ever. This is not only a family favorite, but anyone who's ever had it, they could not stop talking about it. So I had to share it with you guys. Whether you've made turkey before or not, this is an A to Z step-by-step recipe. I've included every detail possible. The meat comes out so tender and the skin becomes super crispy. If you follow this recipe, you don't have to keep basting the turkey over and over while it's baking, but at the same time, you can get the most tender turkey meat ever. Remember, over basting a turkey can definitely turn the skin soggy, and I'll tell you why later in the video. Nobody wants a soggy skin turkey. I've got a 16-pound turkey right here. First of all, carefully take the turkey out of the packaging without cutting through the skin or ripping it apart. Take the giblets out of the cavity and put it aside. The liver and stuff, they usually come in a small plastic pouch. Then pet dry the turkey thoroughly using paper towels or a clean towel. It's necessary to pet dry every inch of the turkey in and out so the seasoning can stick directly to the skin instead of running down. Then transfer it to the big baking pan and prepare the seasonings. I'll start off with extracting the thyme leaves. I find this method easier to extract. Thyme is definitely one of the basic turkey seasonings. Use a very sharp knife to chop the thyme leaves very finely, or as finely as you can. The yield is approximately going to be about 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme. If you choose to substitute it with dried thyme, use 1/3, which is 1 teaspoon. Next, I'm going to finely chop some fresh chives. This works as a vibrant onion powder replacement. It's very important to chop all the ingredients as finely as possible, so when you bite into the turkey, you don't want the overpowering taste of any one seasoning and not all the seasonings as a whole. Next, I'm going to extract some sage leaves and chop them finely. The outcome is going to be about 1.5 tablespoons of finely chopped sage. I'm going to prepare 2 different sets of seasoning mix. One that's going to go in between the skin and the flesh, and the other one is going to go all over the turkey. This will ensure that the turkey is packed with flavors in and out. Use half a bunch of fresh parsley. Chop them as finely as possible. Extract about 1 teaspoon of lemon zest. Make sure to grate off only the very thin outer layer and don't go too far in because otherwise it's going to taste bitter. Next, finely grate 3 cloves of garlic. If you don't have fresh garlic, you can always use garlic powder. In the same bowl, along with the lemon zest and the garlic, add the rest of the finely chopped fresh ingredients. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. We're not adding more salt because we're going to use salted butter. Use 2 whole sticks of salted butter. Make sure that the butter is at room temperature. Add about 1 teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper to it. Now give it a good vigorous mix. Make sure everything blends in together. Set it aside. In a separate bowl, add about 1 tablespoon of fresh ground black pepper, 3 teaspoons of salt, add about half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, one tablespoon of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, and squeeze in some fresh juice from half a lemon. I'm using this tiny whisk to mix it all in. Now let's start seasoning our bird. Start off with seasoning the cavity. Generously season with ground black pepper and salt. Use your fingers to rub it in generously. Find a way to slowly insert your fingers in between the skin and the flesh. With extreme caution, loosen the skin around the breast and leg and thigh area so you can put the butter seasoning in between the flesh and the skin. When the turkey finally gets baked in the oven, the insertion of the butter in between the skin and the flesh will ensure very, very tender turkey. Breast meat is known to be very lean, and because the turkey cooks in the oven for hours, it can get very, very dry. One of the two steps of ensuring a very, very tender turkey is inserting butter in between the skin and the flesh. The second step is coming up ahead in the end. If you follow this step and the next step that's coming up in the end, you don't have to keep basting the turkey over and over while it's baking in the oven. Excessively and over basting the turkey can definitely result in a very soggy skin. The added moisture from the basting liquid prevents the skin from crisping up properly. Every time you take the turkey out of the oven for basting, you're actually exposing the turkey to a different temperature, which is a lower temperature than it was cooking in. So minimizing basting, or in fact eliminating basting at all, would make sure that the turkey cooks at an even temperature for the whole time. I end up basting the turkey only once in between, and that's it. And yet the meat comes out very, very tender and the skin becomes super crispy. Make sure every inch of the turkey is seasoned well. Remember, we've got another set of seasonings to go on the turkey. Here comes the next batch of seasonings. Pour half of it initially. This second batch of seasonings is going to go over the turkey and inside the cavity, but not in between the skin and the flesh. Rub your bird generously. Pour the remainder as needed. Insert a few sage and thyme sprigs inside the cavity. Add a few onion quarters. Lastly, insert a lemon. This turkey was cut in a way that I could use its own skin to tie the legs instead of twining it separately. Here's injectable garlic butter and herb mix. You can follow the package instructions for inserting the butter. Make sure to inject 1/4 to a half a syringe of butter into every square inch of the turkey. This is the second step of ensuring that the turkey meat becomes extremely tender and juicy. And not to mention the amazing flavors that it's going to be packed with. After this step, you're done with seasoning the turkey. Now we'll leave it marinated overnight in the refrigerator. Now to make sure that the clear wrap does not take off the seasonings off of the turkey skin, I've placed the rack upside down over the turkey and put the clear wrap around and over the rack instead of directly over the turkey. Now it's good to go in the refrigerator overnight. Take the turkey out of the refrigerator before it's ready to be placed into the oven. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake the turkey for 30 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, then lower the temperature between 325 or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on which one you prefer. At 325 degrees Fahrenheit, it requires about 15 to 17 minutes per pound, and at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, it requires about 13 minutes per pound. After the first 30 minutes of baking, I personally baked it at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for the whole time, except for the last 30 minutes, I baked it at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I only basted once halfway through. Bake until the internal temperature of the turkey is 170 degrees Fahrenheit. Use a meat thermometer to check. While the turkey bakes in the oven, make sure you prepare for the gravy. Chop 1/4 of an onion into medium-sized cubes. I'm going to use 1 peeled carrot. You could also prepare the gravy while the turkey is out of the oven and resting, but I like to do it ahead of time. Chop 1 stick of celery as shown. Thinly slice 3 white mushrooms. These veggies, along with a portion of the giblets, we're going to use to make the gravy. I'm not using the liver and stuff, but you can if you like. Add about 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a pan, followed by 1 tablespoon of salted butter. Add the diced onions and saute for a couple of minutes. Then add the rest of the veggies. Sprinkle in some salt, take into account that the butter we used is also salted. Season with some fresh ground black pepper. Stir them all in. I'm using the neck and the fatty pouch off of the back of the turkey. Cook them all in medium-high heat for about 5 to 10 minutes while stirring in between. Then add 2 cups of chicken broth. Cover and let them cook. Uncover in between to stir as needed. Add about 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Stir, cover, and simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once the flavors have blended in, take it off of the stove, strain and collect the liquid stock. In another pot, add 1 tablespoon of butter. Add 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour to the butter. Keep stirring to prevent forming lumps. Then add the strained liquid stock. Continue to stir and cook until the gravy has reached your desired consistency. Once done, take it off of the stove. The turkey is out of the oven. Cover and let it rest for at least an hour, or it's best to let it rest for about 2 to 3 hours. The more it rests, the more juicier and tender it becomes. If you try to slice it right away, then the juices run down and the meat would become very, very dry. You have to let its own juice get absorbed in its own flesh. It came out very, very tender, juicy, and flavorful. Around the leg and thigh pieces, while carving, the meat was coming off of the bone on its own. If you try this recipe, I really think you're not going to be disappointed. In fact, the compliments won't stop coming your way. Even when I heated it up the next day, the flavors and the tenderness was still the same. We also enjoyed nice subs and sandwiches with the leftover turkey. Please try this recipe and let me know in the comment section below how it turned out. Also, let me know if this recipe was helpful. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon for instant notifications every time I upload a video, like, comment, and share my videos. Check out my other videos on my channel and let me know what you think about them. Thank you very much for watching.